Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, thank you for tuning in to the Mental Health and Motivational Monday of the Sex and Suicide podcast. Here with an amazing comedian. What did I call you? I called you a legendary comic.
It was a little much.
It was a little bit too much.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but it was a little over.
Well, you're legendary in my eyes. We're here with Mr. Jeff Leeson, and I've got my co-host. You've seen him before, many places.
Thank you.
Around London, Ontario. Brandon Ferris is with us this evening. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome. Jeff.
Let's do a group high five. Yeah, there we go. So, Jeff, we're off to a great start here. I hadn't seen you in a long time. See you at my front door. Go down to give you a hug. I pretty much ear gouged you.
I got stuck. First of all, when I got here, I got stuck between two doors.
Yeah, okay.
And had to call you like a prisoner.
Yes, you did.
And then you did come down. You did let me in.
Yeah. So you were stuck between. You couldn't get out the other one.
No, well, I could.
Between two doors.
I was stuck because the one closes behind you, and then I tried to go out of it, but it was stuck. And then
it's a small space.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a very small space.
Yeah, it is.
I thought, oh, he's probably filming this, and this is what you do. You get people all fucking rattled before they come in.
No, I just gouge him in the ear every time.
Yeah, and then then this guy opens the door, goes to give me what he calls a hug, and pokes his thumb in my ear. Really hard too. Just
that was so unintentional. I do apologize, buddy.
Yeah, you didn't have to whisper. You deserved that in my other ear. You deserved that.
Well, fuck, man. I felt horrible right off the bat. I'm like, man, I haven't seen this guy in forever. Yeah. And you look great, by the way.
Between the two doors, and now I'm gonna gouge his ear.
That's why he was throbbing, because your heart was pounding before he even touched you.
That's right. Yeah,
absolutely.
And now it's warm. Now my whole left side is warm.
Have you gone numb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm numb. I'm gonna go
bit.
to the hospital when this is over.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, if that's the case, then maybe I'll give you a lift there. I don't know if I'll wait, but I'll at least give you a ride.
It's the least you can do.
It's the least I can do. Yeah. So tonight we're here because I haven't caught up with you in quite some time. So how many podcasts have you done?
Waiting for
an invite and a phone call, eh?
Yeah.
How have you been?
I've been great, man. I've been great. Life is really amazing, to be honest. It couldn't be better.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing well, buddy.
You?
I'm good. I was actually going to add something that I just realized right now.
Go for it.
When I actually did my first cabin podcast.
Yep.
Guess who was my first guest?
Mr. Leeson.
This guy, Dan Chapman.
Yeah.
We were your first?
You were my first. Yeah. My first.
And you did it.
Nice.
You did a 2-part with them, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an exclusive 2-parter.
You wanted to break it up a little bit.
Because it
was like 60 minutes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
2-parter.
Sure.
Dan got upset because I didn't have fucking Brita. Remember that?
He needed
fucking Brita.
He needed Brita water.
That was me, I think. Dan would have brought his own sparkling water with him from a tap off the Cayman Islands somewhere that he watched someone put in. Organic, of course, with lemon.
Tell me, see, that's actually a good point you bring up, because I didn't know that Dan was your producer at one point in time. Or no, like that's kind of how.
No, because I would have met you afterwards.
You met me afterwards. You were already doing the Jeff Leeson show. So tell me a little bit about the history, because that I found really fascinating. You know, you had Dan on when he was working kind of for you, right, at the time?
Well, we started that together. Really.
Together, yeah.
It was, do you know what happened was I had this deal sort of lined up in a way with 1290 CJBK to do like a Jeff Leeson show podcast. It was going to be
really?
Yeah, essentially like an AM radio show, but run as a podcast. But it was going to be my show just aired on there.
Right.
And then...
that is cool.
So we had a few meetings, and it was going to be like a once-a-week thing or something like that. Very similar to this, just all about entertainment, really.
Right.
And mostly call-ins from, like celebrity guests that we didn't have to have, like,
live?
Right, yeah.
Live.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And then unedited for like an hour. So anyway, so we it turned out that it didn't happen, and so Dan and I were talking one day, and he's like, well, why don't you just do it anyway? There's the internet, so why don't you just do that?
Yeah.
That thing.
Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I guess let's do it. So we didn't have like mics or anything, but we had a camera, so we just set up the camera. A guy named Lars Classington was a guest.
That's a real name?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, it is a real name, but it's not his real name.
Okay.
But it's the name he got. Anyway, it's his name.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry to give it away to the 4 Instagram people, but it's not his real name. Yeah, shit. Whoops. Uh-oh. I think I ruined his billing in his next movie. Yeah. So anyway, me and Lars sat down for like an hour, and it didn't work as a podcast at all. It just didn't have a good flow. But what Dan did was he chopped it up to 5 minutes, and it was just like really quick.
Yeah.
And his editing was amazing, and that was we were like, oh shit, that's something we should do that. And then people liked it, and then the next week we did one with Dan.
Yeah.
And then we like talked for 45 minutes to an hour, and then he just chopped it up. So he really we were 50-50 on creating that, and that's how it started was from that. Yeah.
It's such a difference too when you do something like that, because it's 2 different audiences.
Yeah.
Because you have people that don't have the attention span to watch a podcast like this.
Yeah.
You have to chop it up.
Sure.
And that's you're appealing to 2 different audiences.
Absolutely.
So it's it's kind of one of those things you have to...
Idiots. We were going for idiots. Fucking morons who can't... Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I know.
Here you go, you idiot that can't watch anything for longer than 3 minutes.
Here's my gift to you. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, now it's even worse now, because you look on Facebook and there's a category for 3-second views, right? Like it's actually you get an award for having people last 3 seconds.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if only that applied to sexual, intercourse, we'd all be laughing.
Oh, buddy, I'd be famous right now.
100%.
That's not even an average.
Turn your speaker down. Yeah.
What's going on?
Computer speaker down.
The computer speaker?
Yeah, the Facebook notifications are going up.
Are they?
Yeah, it happens. It's a part of. Listen, this is what happens when you do
What's
live.
going on?
I think I don't know.
What's happening? This is Facebook notifications.
You can hear it.
Oh, we're getting lit up here with what are people asking questions?
So
Are we taking questions?
Yeah, not yet.
All the time.
Not yet. No Facebook
Do you
questions
take
just yet.
questions on this show? I'd love to take some questions.
Let's just make
I'd love to field some questions.
We're bringing it back to the Jeff Leeson show today. Yeah.
Let's start some questions.
Yeah.
How's your dick?
First question right off. For sure.
Well, downstairs, I was joking.
It's pretty good.
That's the first question, and I actually just asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty
So
good.
what's the answer?
It's pretty good. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing well.
Good for him.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, so what's going on in your life now? I mean, how did you get into comedy to begin with? Tell me that story. Because I don't know that. Do you know that?
I tried one time and I kept interrupting him.
Why am I not surprised?
The first time I asked him that question, and then Dan left the table to go make a drink, and I kept interrupting Jeff because Dan kept asking me fucking questions.
Right.
So he just kept getting fed up. He's like, I might be here and asking me. Yeah, so I was an idiot.
You get distracted easily, eh? Did you hear that? What the noise he's talking about? I didn't hear anything.
I still don't know what that was. No. And I might point out I still haven't been able to answer that fucking question because of this guy. Keep getting off topic here. Nobody will ever know. Imagine I do all these appearances like over the next few years.
You always get interrupted.
Yeah, and I always get interrupted somehow by him.
Yeah.
Do like an interview in Buffalo, and this guy
calls in.
Hey, I did that to him one time on the first ever. That'd be amazing.
So tell me the story, because the reason I'm interested, and this is sort of a motivational mental health Monday we do, but we have a lot of fun with it. A lot of the majority,
as opposed to those motivational mental health Mondays that do it and don't have fun with it.
Sometimes we try to make sure the message is positive, but it can get depressing along the way at times, for sure.
Well, we'll keep it fun. Let's keep it exciting.
Let's keep it sure. Let's keep it running,
and let's keep it down with those fucking Facebook notifications too. Let's take it easy.
Let's do that, and no more ear gouging tonight, all right, Brandon?
I'm not ear gouging. He's ripping me off. You're punching him.
So tell me how
I've only heard out of the right side of my face this whole time. Still nothing. Yeah. Can you get that from a thumb in the ear?
Only a thumb in the ass. So tell me the story.
I definitely haven't.
Oh, we're just gonna be laughing this whole fucking hour.
This is gonna go either really well or really well.
The reason I want to ask you this is because the number one fear for most people before dying is the number two fear. Public speaking is the number one. Yeah. How long have you been doing this, and what made you get into it?
I started doing my first show was when I was 14 years old.
Did you know what you wanted to do at a young age?
Yeah.
Really?
So when I was a kid, basically, I wanted to be an announcer, a hockey announcer, play-by-play.
Right.
So me and my best friend, we would every day after school we played NHL '94 for Super
Great
Nintendo.
game.
Yeah. Like way past 1994.
Right.
We played this game every day.
Yeah.
And it was just the best game. Even NHL 95 and 96 didn't compare to 94
Not at all.
But we would play, and we would not only play, we had a whole league, and we were the head announcers, and I was the play-by-play guy, and he was like the color guy. I was Bob Cole, he was Harry Neal.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to do. That was really seriously what I wanted to do. And so every year in school, though, we would do a speech, right? I was a pretty quiet kid, to be honest. I was like, kept him, like, not, I was just didn't cause shit, and just, I would crack my friends up, and I would talk if you talked to me. I wasn't a weirdo either.
Right,
but you know what I mean? I was just like, I wasn't an asshole or a class clown. I was just kind of, chilled in the back.
Yeah.
And then, but every year I would do a speech, and like they would make you do it on whatever you wanted, really, and I would always crush these speeches where people were laughing, and I would always get a really good, like, even as a kid, I was like, wow, that feeling that I just got there was amazing. Like, I made them laugh, and then I made them like quiet, and then they listen, and then I,
you had them.
Yeah, I had them so much. Yeah.
Like, not even going to school. Just being in Pond Mills, I heard about his speeches before I really knew him.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, because you were a couple years younger, right?
Same age.
Are you?
No. 85.
You're a year. Oh,
yeah,
shit.
but
I just think of you as younger because you're so immature. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what we're referring to for sure.
I heard about them.
Yeah.
In a different school about his speeches.
Wow. So your speeches in public school were legendary.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that, to be honest.
So
but,
I was accurate today.
There was one in particular, to be honest.
Yeah.
It won me. So I did this speech about what not to do on a date with a girl.
Okay.
And I would go through, like, here's what to do. You pull out was that the notification? That it hurts.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Yeah. Continue.
I love how he didn't do whatever you told him to do before.
You posted it, and people were just responding to it.
Okay, I don't have Facebook up, I don't think, do I? Oh, you're right.
See?
Nice. These people.
There we go.
We're getting a good response on Facebook, though. That's good.
He's
That's good to
right.
hear. Yeah, that's what you want to hear.
Yeah, and now it's interactive because they're tuning in and clicking and everything. So tell me about how not to. You said not to date women, or not to do on a date with women.
What not to do on a date. So I would go through what to do. Pull out a chair, whatever, and then what not to do. Which I just remember I poured water on myself, and I actually did it with I brought a spare shirt.
Yeah.
And it just got such a huge reaction. Like they were like slapping the table. Like it was like it was so good. And
why the water? Sweat?
No, it was when you're at the table, make sure you take a drink and you take a normal drink. Don't do this. It was really, you know what? I think I wrote the whole thing around that joke. I was like, what if I pour water on myself?
Right.
People will love this.
Sure.
And then I just wrote a whole. My mom would always help me. My mom was great with writing, and I learned actually a lot from watching my mom do speeches. It was a whole lot. We'll get into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
But anyway, so I did this what not to do, which was a grade 8 speech, and they brought over the other two teachers from the other two classes, came over, and they made me do it again.
That's
them,
awesome.
Just for the teachers.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was. But I just love that feeling. I was like, I can't believe that I'm making these people laugh.
Right.
So that led to being voted valedictorian of my grade 8 class, which had nothing to do with marks at all.
Right.
I wouldn't have even been in the running.
Sure. Yeah.
But it was 3 grade 8 classes, and they all voted each like their top one. So it was me versus
two other people.
Kim Sawyer and Ashley Taylor were their names, and they were the 2 most popular girls in school. And I was not that people kind of knew who I was, but I was I was they were like the head of every club and the star athlete.
The Mean Girls movie, the
but
lead
they
characters,
were nice.
but Mean Girls.
They were nice, but they were like it was like. Okay, it's either going to be Kim or Ashley. It's one of them.
Right.
And then this guy will let him MC or whatever. Right?
Right.
And I won.
Good for you.
Yeah. And like, it was so funny because the gym teacher, I won't, well, yeah, a lot of people, I won't name him, but I remember my buddy told me he was so pissed. He was so mad because he loved Kim or whatever. He was like,
the gym teacher did?
I can't believe this fucking kid is going to be. Yeah, the gym teacher. He was so
God.
Pissed. And I was not a gym guy.
Yeah, the gym teacher with the Asian chicks. Yeah,
he was mad, man. He was mad. God, he couldn't believe his golden girl. He's like, I groomed this kid since grade 4. And then this guy comes along. This guy doesn't even run track. I didn't run. I didn't do any of that fucking shit.
Right.
I was a goalie, but I left. I wasn't doing it. I didn't contribute to the school. I wasn't a track and field star and a basketball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She did everything. She was the best at everything. Yeah. And anyway, yeah, so I always thought that was hilarious.
She wasn't the best valedictorian that year.
No, she was not.
That's right.
She never got it again.
No. Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I don't think.
You don't have an opportunity yet. Yeah.
She went to a different high school. I always felt because she was
That's
like,
the reason.
I can't go to the same high school as this fucking guy. Yeah, I can't look this guy
He'll
in the
beat me
face.
valedictorian in high school too. I got to go elsewhere.
Yeah. No, in high school they pick it based on grades, and I was asked not even to show up to the ceremony. Yeah. We're gonna mail you a copy of your diploma. Let's just not tell anyone you even went here. Okay.
That's awesome.
You're funny. Here it is.
Yeah. I hope you can speak, man. Good luck with all that shit. So I did this valedictorian speech, grade 8, and I got a standing ovation. My mom helped me write it.
Yeah.
We did, part of it was really funny. Part of it we did a tribute to a friend of ours that died in like grade 6.
Yep.
So people cried. We did like a little thing. And then it went from laugh to cry to bring them back to laugh to close with like a motivational message.
Good for you.
Yeah,
man.
and it was
lots of emotion.
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And to have the power over 100 or whatever people in a room, and be able to take them through that, and you're in total control of that.
Yeah,
it was amazing. And then at the end they start standing up, and I remember I said my last thing like thank you, and I kind of took 2 steps back from the podium. I'm looking down like, okay, I got through it, and I look up, and people are like, boom, boom, popping up, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Why are you staying? We're not leaving.
Guess who?
Right?
Yeah.
And then I look over, and the teachers are starting to stand up, and they're like, and I'm like, what? Why? It was so confusing. And then I'm like, oh, shit, I think I'm getting a standing ovation here.
Right.
And then it went on for like, I have the video of it somewhere. It's probably like 2 minutes, but it felt like an hour.
Right.
But I just stood there and was like, I don't know what to do. And like I feel like I wanted to be like this, but I'm like, no, don't ever do that. No.
Do you still have a copy of that video?
Yeah, it's on VHS somewhere in my mom's house.
What you can do is you can bring that to I think maybe Walmart, and they put it to YouTube link.
Really?
Yeah,
you should totally do that.
Maybe we can actually even put a link for it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, I'll go find it.
That'd be awesome.
I'll do that. They take VHS to YouTube.
That's such a weird jump.
Yeah, man. Whose job is that?
Yeah.
So, okay, what do you watch VHS on?
Well, I don't watch VHS.
No, what would you watch it on?
VCR.
Okay, you're the first fucking guy ever say VCR.
No one knows what.
They say VHS
oh,
player.
yeah, VHS player.
Everyone
right.
says VHS player.
Yeah.
Really?
No, you're not.
Technically.
Right.
Yeah.
Was
so you put it in.
I feel like that's why the DVD player sold so well.
Because they actually named
like,
it after the
DVDs. So many people.
Yeah. No kidding.
The reason why I know this is because remember back in the day, you go to Canada's Wonderland and do like a performance.
Yes.
You pretend like you're a band.
Yeah.
So you put it on the fucking. You put it on the.
That wasn't a thing at Canada's Wonderland. That was just you. No, your parents were just like, pretend you're in a band. You're like, no, they're filming.
Distraction.
How I grew up.
This is their distraction method from the ADD, right? It's just like, yeah, you're in a band. Everybody's.
No, we're not. We're at home.
Awesome.
Anyway, that's how I know that. So you can actually do the VHS and put it on. They put DVD and you put YouTube.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do that then.
Yeah.
That's great.
You're welcome, you fucking asshole.
That's awesome. I'd love to see it too.
Thank you.
So what was your end? How did you go off? You obviously didn't go off with this.
No, I just kind of sit there like,
don't do it. I did it.
a couple of these.
Yeah, old fashioned.
Yeah.
No, man.
I think I just kind of was like,
nod your head a little bit. Yeah.
Because I really didn't know what to do, but it felt, oh man, the feeling, it was like, well, think of any drug or alcohol or anything.
Absolutely.
The highest you've ever been, ever.
Yeah.
Times 10. That's what it felt like.
I should have just done that instead of doing the drugs and the alcohol. That sounds a lot healthier.
Yeah. It really,
yeah.
Because really, like every time I've been on a roller coaster or anything, and I'm not really like a drug guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I don't know the drug side, but like roller coasters or anything, I'm like,
yeah.
everybody's like, whoa, that was the craziest. I'm like, yeah, it's not even a fraction of what, of what that was, and still is. I mean, there still is an element of that, but that was so life changing, and it changed everything because immediately I was like,
you want to get that again?
I need to do that.
Yeah,
and you're not getting that by calling a hockey game and
right.
doing play by
Sure.
play. You know,
sure.
So, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Just to interrupt you. Just because, do you ever find yourself chasing that feeling?
That's why
every time.
Yeah. Every time.
Even if you're not ready to do a show, would you do a show earlier than you should have, just to chase that feeling?
That's a good question.
What do you mean?
So say if you say you do a show tonight and you
do
material that say didn't crush the crowd.
It wasn't.
yeah.
Would you do the same material again just to get that feeling again? Or
Well,
would you
I
chase
never-
the feeling rather than the career.
I always chase the feel. I never do material. Like every show of mine is different anyway, so I would never do the same show.
Yeah.
But
wow.
He's unbelievable.
Good
which
for
is
you.
new. That hasn't always been the case.
Right.
But to answer your question, it's always about the feeling. The only reason that I do stand up is to chase that feeling, and sometimes that you get it. Like
right.
I got a standing ovation, or I guess half, this past weekend in Michigan.
Oh, cool.
And,
Right on.
and it was like, I remember back, it all flashes back. I'm 14 again, being like, yes, that we did it again. You know
That's
what I mean?
amazing.
And
man.
The bar you've set for yourself.
yeah, but you know what? Like looking back, I'm over that. Like it's a better response now because I have way more control and I know
Right.
how to do it.
Right.
But that feeling of like, holy shit, look what I made you do.
Yeah.
I fucking made you stand up. Is like it's so childlike and so pure.
That's awesome.
That's always what I'm chasing.
Nostalgia.
Oh, it's totally.
Yeah.
And it is an addiction. Like it is an addiction because
Yeah.
you're always chasing that high, but you do get it.
Yeah.
You do get it.
Yeah.
It's
Sure.
not like, oh, I can never
Get that again.
It's
Right.
like some nights you get it and some nights you're like, oh, I didn't quite get it.
Right.
But that's when you want to go back the next night and do it again.
Right.
Is there a night that you can remember that was like the best high you've had from a response? Besides the first, obviously the first one's going to be one of the best. But is there a night that you can remember that was like, holy shit, I can't believe I feel like this?
Yeah. So I taped a comedy special in April in Sarnia, and it was like jam packed. Like it was so many people in this place, and at the end, it was a standing ovation. People were like doing this on the stage, like banging the stage.
Oh, cool.
And it was so thunderous. The noise was so crazy that I really feel like I could have floated off the stage. That's
wow.
yeah.
That's amazing.
To the point where when I came, I walked off, and like at this club, the stage door, like you leave through this door, but you're outside and then walk around.
Right.
And so there's two like security guards that are kind of standing out there, and they're the first two guys I see, and I walk out and I'm like literally shaking.
Right.
And they're like, hey, we're just gonna walk you around, and I'm like, I can't even walk, guys. I need to sit down.
Yeah.
Because my legs were such. Yeah, it was the
Adrenaline dump.
craziest. It
Wow.
was the craziest
A
feeling.
lot of fighters
Wow.
get that.
Yeah.
Dump.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You just get that high and then you crash.
Like after the fight?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No
And
shit,
when
eh?
you get in the cage because you're so hyped up for it.
Yeah.
And then you're in the fight, and then you get an adrenaline dump, and that's why a lot of guys that have it's called UFC jitters. The cage UFC, you get in there.
Yeah.
And you basically crash, and you don't have the energy because you crashed so hard from the adrenaline dump that you can't perform possible. And then that's pretty much what you had is after
Really?
the cage, your body crashed.
Yeah.
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 Wild.
But you know what? It was like I couldn't sleep for. I mean, I was up. I don't
Dang.
even know. I was like 3 days of my life after were affected by
That feeling,
being,
that energy.
yeah, being awake.
Yeah.
It was
Cool
like,
thing.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Wow. That sounds like just an amazing energy that came all
Oh.
because of you.
It was.
Isn't that amazing?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it was me. It was
no
them.
drugs.
It was them, but you kind of brought that
But
out.
yeah, I guess what I said caused it, and it was just like, I will never. I really thought, I'm like, you're about to fall off this stage because every step that I had, and there was only 3 steps off stage.
Right.
Every step, I was like a deer learning to walk. Like,
Really?
stagger. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
Cool.
crazy.
That's amazing that the human body in just words can create that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
From your mind without having any
Yeah.
drugs.
Sure.
Fucking
It,
fascinating.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was really crazy. I've never and like I said, I've smoked weed, I've done mushrooms, and that's really about it. I did like coke one time. That was a weird, like it wasn't even enough. So I never got any. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never ever even remotely close to that scene.
No shit.
Ever.
Yeah. And that's natural. It really is.
Oh, pure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
You can't recreate. You can't. It's lightning in a bottle.
Yeah. I think that's why I never, because I think I have an addictive personality since I'm clearly addicted to that thing.
Sure.
And I think that finding that at a young age is a huge reason why I never became an alcoholic or drug addict or anything, because I didn't need any of that shit ever. Cool.
Yeah. As he pours himself another glass of wine.
Yeah. That's great,
amazing.
Man. Yeah, good for you. What's that like?
Hey, I am classy.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are,
like
sir.
This white wine or
yeah. That's amazing, man. So you obviously like.
Does he drinks his fucking alcohol? He's like, he looks away. He goes, oh yeah.
All right. Let me see if I can sneak that in.
Oh yeah.
So you knew what you wanted to do when you were pretty much in public school, man. When you started doing these speeches.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. And how's it working out so far? Because I've seen a lot of you traveling. You're not just in London anymore. You're on the road quite a bit. You're doing some commercials for some restaurants.
Yeah. Doing I've done a few like web commercials and TV commercials for different companies, which has been awesome. But stand up is always my passion and my first love. So, a lot of I do a lot of corporate stuff, and so I mean, like when for me, if you follow really what you're like truly passionate, it was never about money for me.
Sure,
right? Like I could have easily been a guy who sold stuff. Like I have a personality for
sales,
for people's sales, and I've had sales jobs because like along the way in comedy, you have to do part-time, or full-time work, and then do some night, shows and stuff like that, right? So like I had that. Sales or whatever, and I could have probably, but it was never about money for me. It was all about that. It was all about that passion, and then that led really to a really good, solid income and career. Eventually, like it's been 17 years, but,
right? But
especially with my style, corporate wise, like I do a lot of corporate events for staff parties or fundraisers or whatever, where the show is all about them, and it's geared to them. So if they're an audience that really wants a dirty show, then I'll give them a dirtier show.
Right.
But if they're an audience that's like, hey, I did a retirement village not too long ago, and 60 and over, and they just kept it, pretty clean, and they loved it, like because it's really personal to them. It's very personal comedy.
That's a testament to your ability, though, because a lot of comedians stick to their script and stick to their writing.
Right.
Where I've seen his writing, and I've seen his improv, and the hardest thing to do is improv with a crowd you don't know.
Sure.
And I watched one of your videos when a lady said, "Watch me, watch me, watch him," or something.
Watch me, watch you.
It was the funniest fucking thing. I've watched it probably 10 times over and over again, because he has the ability, and just explain this to you. Most people don't understand how comedy works. That has the ability to be on improv at any time, where most people don't have that.
Right.
You're a good comedian.
They can throw you off.
Things, but you can improv with hecklers too.
Right.
A lot of comedians can get crushed by hecklers. And I don't see him being able to have that problem because of his improv ability.
I've seen some of your stuff, and when people heckle, you give it to them the rest of the show, pretty much, right?
Yeah, and
a lot of the times.
And I love it. To me, I'm there for them. I'm there to get provide a service, which is you came out for a good night. Most of these shows are Fridays and Saturday nights, which means you decided to spend your money and come out. So there's something that you needed from that or wanted to do. And if you want to yell something out, I can usually work with that and work it in.
Yeah.
And most people, I think, when they do yell out, they're trying to help the show, or they do it in the best interest of the show. They're not necessarily trying to derail you. And of course you get assholes as well.
That are just hammered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those people you deal with, and you try to shut them up.
Yep.
Like a kid, you say, okay, I'm going to give you a warning. It's a warning now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your life,
yeah. And then usually if you're working at, a good place, most of the clubs will take care of you, and they'll just come and get them out of there if they're being a nuisance. But for me, it's like, if somebody wants to be part of the show, I love that. And, and because most people, their favorite thing is themselves, right? So if I can make someone a hero for 15 or 20 minutes, my favorite shows, like my favorite thing, there was this old guy named Ken in Toronto at a show, and he was a professor. And I created this whole story about Ken, how back in the 60s he like fucked everything that moved, and he was doing coke off of hookers' asses, and he was just like the king of whatever. And he was a legend. Yeah, he was a fucking legend. Yeah, he was the kind of guy this guy would hang out with. This is his wingman. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he's like this 65, maybe 70-year-old guy.
Yeah.
But he's this guy that, and he was like a professor.
I'm fucking out of here.
He was a professor, and he was like clearly a very boring guy.
Right.
His wife was there. She didn't like any of it. But at the end of the show, I saw a lineup of people talking to Ken.
Oh, that's cool.
And buying him Jaeger bombs.
Really?
To do, because in part of the story it was like he
loved Jaeger
bombs or whatever. Yeah. Or he was the creator, I think, of Jaeger bombs. Something like that.
That's beautiful.
And so people were buying him. And he was like, oh, thank you. Oh. And he was like very polite.
Was he
nice,
doing any of them?
No.
No,
he left them for me, which was nice. But he was very you could tell that he loved it. He
liked the
loved
attention for that.
But he couldn't do too much because I don't think he knows how to be like super pumped, right?
Right, yeah.
And his wife was also there like, are you fucking kidding me? Like this is, but he loved it, and that's what I love the most is if I can create that for someone, and that's happened a few times, but that's just one of my favorites because the lineup, it was so funny coming around the corner and just seeing 6 people like lined up like a book signing.
Sure,
like,
she can.
How long is this
We're going to
be?
his show.
That's awesome.
Oh, buddy.
That's amazing.
That's really cool.
So when do you find it a challenge jumping back and forth between the uncensored dirty stuff to the sort of keeping it clean shows? Is that a challenge for you?
I think you just have to be more. It is a challenge in a way, but you just have to be more on guard. There's more of a filter, really.
Right.
Whereas if I'm doing a nightclub show, I can just kind of. It's really open. Like my whole mind works stream of consciousness type of deal, right? So
right.
It's like whatever comes out. If I see something, I go off on it. When there's a corporate thing involved, or when you have to be clean, you gotta go like, is that okay? Yeah, okay, that's okay. So it just goes through
check
one
yourself.
more step.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah. Do you find it's a much better response when you're allowed to be have profanity?
No.
Really?
No, not necessarily.
Never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
Never would have thought that was the case.
Not
cool.
like it can be. I mean, I've had both. I've had completely clean shows where it was a standing ovation, and at the end, people were like, "Hey, by the way, that was great that you didn't swear, and thank you." And the person who books you for the event, like the event coordinator, is always like, "Hey, thank you so much."
Sure.
Now they're not in trouble, right?
Right. Yeah.
So everyone's happy. Everyone gets paid. Everyone goes home, and everyone hopefully comes back and has a rebooking next year.
Right. Yeah.
That must be very hard sometimes. Because even hard for me to swear.
to put the filter on?
Yeah.
It is tough. Well, especially if you swear. Like I don't swear a lot in everyday life, but I swear.
Yeah.
So it's like you really have to be on guard. And occasionally they're nice about it too. Like a lot of corporate events, they show up and they're like, we don't give a shit. Say whatever you want. And some are like, just be careful, or just.
Yeah.
And some you just really got to be like very on guard of, okay, is what is coming out of my mouth going to cause
a commotion,
a real problem. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, do you find that with the audiences now, people are getting more and more sensitive like they are? I mean, we see that like the world. Yeah. We see it on the internet all the time, right? Do you find that, is that affecting you at all in your shows?
It's not affecting me because, I don't go after, I think people
politics.
are, sensitive about politics, race.
Yeah.
The whole like transgender transformations, all that kind of stuff.
It's a sensitive topic now.
Yeah, and a lot of comics they want to incite a certain anger or not even anger, but just like a reaction from the crowd.
Sure.
That's not my thing.
Right.
I would never even talk about anybody. Like if I was talking to somebody that I knew was gay or anything like that, like anything I asked them would have zero to do with being gay or
being straight, whatever.
Nothing, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's tougher for guys who are
that's their thing.
Political and I think audiences are sensitive to those things, but not everything.
Being 14, so this is my thing. So you learned you want to be a comedian at 14.
Mm-hmm.
Has who you looked up to as a comedian then changed now?
Well,
because you evolved.
Kind of,
yeah.
My first favorite comedian was Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And he was like, he didn't swear at all.
Yeah.
And so when I first got into comedy, he was like, and still is, like one of my favorite comedians.
Yeah.
He's just awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, we're live. You can't even edit this out. Shit. So Seinfeld was like the first reason that I really. He was like the first guy that I was like, wow, whatever he's doing, I really like that. It was good writing. It was really good. Seinfeld was my favorite show. I loved the clips, and then I would watch more.
Yeah.
But what really got me into comedy was Just for Laughs and comedy at Club 54. I would come home every single day, and I would watch those two shows, 3 o'clock, 3:30 on Comedy Network.
Yeah.
Every day. Channel 46, buddy. 46. And so I would, since I would watch those every day, I really got into, because you see 7 minutes of different comedians.
Right.
So I really got to see guys like Glenn Foster
Unreal.
Who I got to work with later on, that Canadian guy. Yeah. Steve Cox, who was one of my favorites on Comedy at Club 54, Andrew Gross. So like these are guys that you might not know the name necessarily, but you probably know them if you saw them because they're on TV so much.
Sure.
And but these were the guys that I saw so much of. Mike McDonald, he was on TV like almost every day on Just for Laughs, and he was amazing. Like he was, and again, clean, right? Clean. So when I first started, I think clean was where I was going, but I realized pretty quickly that I swear.
Yeah. So you're just yourself now.
Yeah. And so I evolved, like, but I was material, like doing the off the cuff stuff now. That's only been in the last maybe 7 years.
Right.
But the first like 10 years, I was very strictly material. But I didn't know what I was talking about. Part of it was observational. Part of it was about me, and part of it was about my family. And some stuff worked and some stuff didn't. But whenever I would just go into the crowd and do something, or something would happen unexpectedly, it got that reaction that I remember from being a kid at 14, getting the response. And I was like, well, how do I get that all the time? And it was a friend of mine, Ez Fidel, who Ez probably too, right?
Yeah.
And Ez came to a couple shows, and he was like, why don't you just do all crowd work? Like, why don't you just do that? Because that gets a better response. And I'm like, are you fucking crazy, man? Like, that's almost impossible to make up 45 to 60 minutes a night off the top of your head about people. And he's like, well, try.
Yeah.
I was like, guys I know that could probably do it. And so, that's how it all started. And now for the last 7 years, that started with a show up north, and I did it, and I got that feeling that like at the end of that, I was like floating again that first night. And I was like, okay, well then this is it. And then I had to create an act out of it though.
Yeah.
So it had to become a show. It was just kind of me fucking around, and then it had to become a show. So now there's like show elements to it.
Right. Yeah. Very cool, man. Very cool.
You ever thought about, like, because obviously it can't be an easy job being a comedian.
Fuck no.
So
no.
Is there a time where you just said, fuck this, I'm not doing it anymore?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
This is where the mental aspect comes in. Like, you've hit those hurdles. What have you done when you hit those walls and you've been like, fuck this, like, I don't even want to do it anymore? I'm sure
I did a shitload of drugs. Listen,
you
want to get over your problems.
Yeah. High to high.
No.
If you were treated as a high,
and
if you're not doing a show for say three months, what the fuck is that downtime like?
Well, it's that, and when you bomb.
Right.
When you bomb,
I can't even imagine what that feels like. Go ahead and explain to me.
Well, So, I mean, first of all, I go back to your first question. Has there been times where I'm like, fuck this? The main time that I did that was in, I think it was 2009. It was at the end of 2009. I felt like I was always on the road. I was always doing these shows, and things weren't really going anywhere. And I was like, I don't know if I can just do this. Something's got to happen.
Right.
So,
structure.
I was like, I need to get out of this. And then like 2 months later, I got invited to do this show called London Tonight, and then I ended up being the host of the show, and led to a Rogers deal, and then Toronto, and back. It just got me back in the game, but it reignited everything for me. So that was the only time that I was not the only time that I was like, fuck this, but that was the only time that I was like, I think I'm getting out of this right now. But it always, there were times like along the way where I was like, I need to quit, and then it just pulled me back in. I'll tell you the worst. Not the worst. None of these are the worst though, because they all. Now you look back and you're like, well, that was great that happened. But
right.
At the time, I was 18. When I was 18, so I'm still in high school, right?
Yep.
And I'm trying to get in with yucks, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's gonna.
I like the applause.
Yeah.
Well, like, yeah, I'm not.
That's that filter. That's that filter you're talking about.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to. I'm not bashing yucks. This is just what happened.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I was 18 and I was really. I had been doing comedy for 4 years, but when I say doing comedy, it was like. A couple of years I started doing like comedy clubs at 16, but I'd done a lot of talent shows and like things like that, kind of thrown my own shows. I was a promoter, producer, whatever, early.
Right.
Me and some guys that were in a band. And I wanted to get on Yuck's roster, so I sent him a VHS tape to the owner and just kept calling and emailing and stuff like that. And so the owner of Yuck's called me at 18. He was like, "Hey, I watched your tape, and it was he's like, it was like one of the worst comedy sets or whatever I've ever seen."
Are you serious? He fucking said that to you, and he knew how old you were?
Did you punch him in the fucking head?
He said, well, he goes, "I see that you're very young. How old are you?" And I said, "I'm 18." And he said, "You know, you're a young guy, and comedy's not for everybody, and you should maybe want to do something else, right? You should maybe think about doing something else."
Right.
And so like at the time, you're 18 and you're like, "Oh wow, that's over. I guess that's
yeah, sure."
Right?
Move on.
And so it was in the basement I was living at home, and I was in the basement, and I like hung up the phone. And I just remember staring at the wall for a while and being like, "Did that really just happen? Like, did that honestly just happen?"
Fuck him.
Yeah. And then, but you know what? Here's why not, though. Here's why not. Because I probably cried. Like, I don't remember crying, but I'm sure I've eliminated that portion from the story.
Right.
But I was a pretty sensitive kid, so I'm quite sure I probably cried. Yeah.
Sure.
So, you have the breakdown, and I'm sure I got mad. But here's the thing. I went to my mom. My mom's like my biggest supporter from day one. Yeah. And she was like, my mom's amazing. And she's probably watching right now. She figured out how to do it on Facebook. Not on Instagram, but on Facebook. She's probably still trying to figure it out right now, actually. Guaranteed my mom's on her phone like, "This fucking thing. Are you kidding me? Where?
Hey, Siri, where is my son?"
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing this stays.
She has a Google phone. She doesn't even have...
Okay, Google, where is my son?
No, she still says Siri. Where's my son? 911. You were looking for your son, madam.
Back to your story. Sorry.
So anyway, I told my mom what happened, and I just remember her saying like, "Well, he said you can't do comedy for Yucks, right?" And I was like, "Yeah," and she's like, "So couldn't you do it and somewhere else? Like,
right?
Can't just be that they are the only
comedy place."
And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess." And she's like, "Why don't you just find another place to do comedy? If you want to do comedy, why don't you just find a place to do comedy?" And my mom was always like, her big thing to me was always, "Well, why don't you just do it?
Yeah.
Why don't you just do that?" Or it was like Nike, like, "Just do it."
Yeah. Well, that's a fucking
really
cool, They have a good slogan for that reason.
Great.
Yeah.
Right. That's why they're.
Yeah.
That's why they
that's
are.
why they're where they are. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
right. And
sure.
There was an old company called Nikki, and theirs was "Don't do it," and they're out of business, right? And that's why. So.
I had Mickey shoes.
Don't do it. It was just an X.
Yeah. Stop me there.
So anyway, so I was like, "Oh, well, where, and somehow I don't even know where the idea came, but somehow it was like, well, bars do entertainment." So I wrote a letter and printed out a letter and then copied it, and I sent out to every bar in Ontario.
No shit.
Printed out letter that said I'm who I am, and that I would do comedy, and that I would charge only $100, and I would just be me, and I'll come for like an hour, and I'll entertain the people at your bar on whatever night you want.
That's an entrepreneurial thing that you did, eh?
And I sent them out, and I'm 18, and I sent them out. Seriously, probably like 150 to 200 of them. Mailed.
Wow.
Like mailed with
a stamp.
Package.
Yeah.
and booked 11 of them. So
good for you,
made
man.
$1,100 in the year that I graduated, because it's however long it took between that phone call and the time it took. It was about a year.
Yep.
And so when I graduated high school that summer, I did 11 cities in Ontario by myself.
Wow.
For you.
Yeah, basically taking it on the chin.
Jesus.
Every night.
But that's how you become successful.
It is,
Yeah.
but not a lot of 18-year-olds are willing to do that. Like
Right.
you're grinding it out, following a passion, whereas the rest of us are chasing pussy at a bar, right? I mean,
Right.
good for you.
Yeah,
Doing
I
a
was.
podcast.
Or doing a podcast. Yeah, that's right. We're not at a bar right now on a Monday.
I ain't fucking am.
I guess so. So that's amazing, man. That's an amazing story.
Thank you.
So when you got into this headspace, did you ever get like depressed at all, or do you think, or do you just not look at it that way?
Oh,
And like, how did you pick
I have
yourself
been
up?
Depressed, not then.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
No, like not
Yeah.
not where I went to it, but just where you feel
Depressed and
yeah,
you feel
you
down.
like
and
feel
out.
down and feel
Yeah.
like you don't want to get up. There was a time, yeah. There's been a lot of like, that
Yeah.
it's a career that's designed that way. Like there's
Right.
so many ups
and downs.
because when you're up, you're fucking way up.
Yeah.
And when you lose something, like you're back to the bottom.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
So yeah, so there's been a lot of that, but but at that time, I was so young that it was like that could have gone too. If my mom was like, yeah, maybe he's right,
You
then
wouldn't have. You'd be in a totally different spot right now.
I might be dead.
Right.
Like I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Certainly not.
That's-
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Suicide's a huge issue in the comedic world.
Yeah.
or just self-destruction in general.
Self-destruction.
Yeah.
I would have ate myself or drank myself to death. I would have
Yeah,
found
yeah.
some other thing, or maybe I would have, maybe I would have just like gone to school or gone, into it
And not been happy, or
found it
Yeah,
later.
your life, yeah.
Like I know so many people. I work with so many guys now that I'm 32.
Yeah.
And I meet guys that are older than me, just starting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're like,
It's never too late.
if I was you, man, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah,
If
sure.
and they all knew
what they wanted to do, and
then.
they
all knew they just
the
somebody
balls like
either
you did.
talked them out of it or they listen. What's that?
Didn't have the balls like you did.
It's not even the balls. it's
misdirection, maybe.
like, like somebody might have had a mother that was like, no, my mom
Go to
drove
school.
me
Yeah.
to fucking Toronto, Niagara Falls, Hamilton for 5 minutes of shitty comedy, and she had to sit there and listen to it, and then listen to other guys, and then go and then drive home, and then go to work
No.
the next day,
For
right?
Sure, all kudos to your mom. Your mom's
Yeah.
the sweetest lady, but you got up on stage.
No, of course, but I
we're
was
talking
given
about
the
support
freedom.
system, yeah.
Yeah, right. Whereas some people aren't, which is
But get back
shitty.
to the bombing. 'Cause that's one question
Yeah.
you never really answered. And I was waiting
Oh,
for.
sorry.
You bombed. I want to know what the crash was and what it was like to recover from bombing.
Oh, from bombing?
Because you must feel so depressed and so. Seriously, I can
Are you
imagine
just trying to
what
make me cry here? Tell me about bombing. It must hurt, right? It must feel like.
I'll just put my thumb in your fucking ear.
Yeah, there you go. We saw that tear. We saw that. He comes
I tried
in the door. He's little.
I got an itch. No, I'm not crying. It's allergy season. I'm not crying.
Someone upstairs holding his head. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
He tried to act. I just followed him up the stairs. I'm like, that had to hurt. He wants to rub it. He wants to rub it.
I know. I'm like, don't show the weakness in front of this guy. Because you come out all jacked too. You're like, you come out looking like a fucking like a bodybuilder now, and I'm like, oh man, this guy's tough. Who knows? He's fucking fighting people now. He's working his new move on me. Going to the.
It's just man. It's just a.
You're allowed.
It's just a reflex now,
Wait till later when I get in the car. I'm just gonna sit there and cry.
You guys can relate on the bombing thing too, because you're a pretty entertaining guy yourself. You do.
hope so.
You like we had the podcast and you talked about how you like to entertain people. You like to make people laugh. So you guys have something in common there.
Yeah.
So what happens when you're trying to make people laugh and they don't laugh? I mean, it's to both of you. You can kind of relate on this.
It's one of those things that it's weird because some of the stuff that I put out there that I don't find funny or my funniest is to get the best response.
Right.
It's fucking strange.
Yeah.
Like some of the things that you said you saw of mine that you enjoyed, I didn't think
You didn't
were
see
my
it.
funniest.
Right.
So it's weird because their sense of comedy.
But you're talking about a reaction online, right? You're talking about like you didn't think it was funny, but people are writing in. So
is that a tougher way to gauge though? Like because people might be laughing on the other.
It's an impossible way to gauge.
It really is, yeah.
Because the other thing is way different when you. Online, you film it, you know it, you edit it or whatever, you put it out, and then you wait for the in comedy, you say something and you know immediately
right
that was shit or that was good or we liked it or we didn't, right?
For sure.
So in the online thing, the other thing is online, there could be 1 million people that watched it, laughed, didn't do anything,
and didn't respond just because that's not their personality or whatever.
Like I've watched probably all the pizza guy videos, but I don't even think I've liked. No offense, but it's just I don't do it.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
Same with the sex and suicide thing. Like I'm not a
liker. Yeah, that's fine.
A share comment guy. It's just I'm like, oh, that was really good, and then I'm on to the
next thing. Sure.
So. This guy, it was the way that he grabbed his drink.
I grabbed the drink and I literally
what the fuck is that glass number 10?
Return.
You still have some in your bottle there? Yeah. How much you got left?
How many bottles does he have is the question.
That's all right, buddy. You're having fun. You're having fun.
Well, you're right, but here's the thing. What I do is it's similar to your improv. Because when I do something, people think that I've staged it or I fucking wrote it. I think something's funny, I'll film it right away, I'll send it. I will not. So if I do a Snapchat,
don't think about it.
And I'll do a series of Snapchats, 5 or 6 Snapchats, I'll combine them into one video and send it out. But then I have no idea what I'm doing next time. I record one, do the next one, with no idea what I'm going to do.
That's funny. You don't seem like an impulsive guy at all.
Not at all.
Wait a second. These aren't planned out with storyboards and
not at all.
Scripts.
No, but that's what it is. And that's like, it's kind of like my version of your improv. Everything is improvised.
Right.
And if it's funny, it's not. I really don't give a fuck if you laugh or not. I think it's funny, I'll put it out there.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think that you...
I do give a fuck if they laugh. I care.
I'm not trying to...
I really want you to laugh.
Yeah.
Please.
You're a successful comedian. I'm not. That's not...
Well, you're working on it, though, a little bit. I mean, it's... Yeah.
I don't know if I have it in me to do what he does.
Well, you bring up a good question, though, because you're kind of at that point where you love the stand-up, but you need that reach of social media. So you kind of need to do some stuff online, which you've been doing, right?
Definitely, yeah.
So do you... So do you find it, like... Which one are you less passionate about, one than the other? I mean, stand-up is it for you, or are you going to be able to make that transition if it all becomes like online?
Really, what it is it all goes back to stand-up, because the more social media reach I have, or the more people that like it, then they're more likely to come see a show.
Right.
And then the shows get bigger and bigger and bigger. For me, what I ultimately want to do is I would love to have like a residency or something in Vegas where people come to me.
Right.
So they're on vacation, like, oh shit, he's here?
Yeah.
I'll go see that show. And they know it's about them. So you could be in Vegas for 3 days. You can come see 3 shows. You'll see 3 completely different shows.
Right.
Yeah. But for now, I really love touring too. I love to go to different towns and cities.
Yeah.
So for me, if I can build online and then people are more
come.
likely, then, if I'm at a 100-seat venue, then next time I'm maybe at a 200, then maybe a 4, then a 6.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the more I can build, and social media right now is really the best and only way to do that, because otherwise all the other stuff is good. Like I would do, TV, radio, anything like that just to even enhance. But if you're not doing stuff on social media, then
you're kind of irrelevant.
You are. And so for me, I've been really focused on my social media driving people to shows and having it all go back to stand up, because ultimately, like, I don't necessarily want to be known as like an internet personality, but I would like to be known as a really good live performer. But you maybe only knew me because you saw something on social media. So utilizing it for that reason.
Now, would you find yourself having a hard time translating what you do on stage to social media?
Yeah, what I do on stage is tough to translate unless you see clips of it. Yeah. Like there's, like you saw the lady. Like there's a couple of those.
Hilarious.
Thank you. There's a couple of those, clips. But mostly for me, it's like promo videos are good. So it's like me, either just explaining a show, or what I've done now is I've gone into towns like a couple weeks before a show, done a little tour of the town, and that kind of is my style, because I will sort of, joke about the town, the people, all that kind of stuff. So you can see that it's very improvisational. So and that's been driving some pretty decent ticket sales in towns, but also they feel like, oh, he came here, he got to know the town, and that's really what I try to do in each city that I go to, is really get in with the town, the people, like become sort of part of the culture.
That's key. And you know how I know that's key? Because I went and saw Carrie Underwood at the John Labatt Center with my folks last year, and my mom was kind of sitting in the car on the way home, and she was quiet. I said, "Mom, what's the problem?" She said, "Carrie didn't even say anything about London."
Oh, really?
Yeah, she didn't say anything about London. So my mom was like, she expected it. Yeah, she expected something to be said about the city, right?
As you got to endear yourself to the crowd.
Exactly.
Part of them. So.
Yeah.
Your mom wasn't the only person that thought that.
Probably not.
I guarantee there's like 1,000 people driving home. I can't believe she didn't say one thing about London.
Exactly. Exactly.
This guy went home, poured himself some wine. Nothing about London. This is
only white.
So this is where we mentioned Dan earlier, because Dan is now kind of like an internet sensation.
Kind of. Him and Jesse. They blew up. Sorry, John. Oh shit! I did it. Oh man, I just outed Lars and John.
You're fucking
John Nunny.
You're a narc.
That's why I'm here.
But that was
John
never.
Nunny is coming. That's what
coming.
the word is on the street. Did you know that?
Yeah. John Nutty's coming.
That's what the word is on the street.
Yeah.
We'll see if he ever fucking gets here. I've been waiting for years for this fucking guy.
Like Larry King just said.
On the line with us now is John Nunny.
Walter Cronkite over here.
Yeah, man.
But you had never, your desire was never to go in that route. You want to use social media to bring your passion, bring more people towards your passion.
I want to build a fan base. I want to put out good content that people like.
Yeah.
And hopefully laugh at, or, whatever. But it was all to really build a fan base so that when I come to your town, you want to come out and see me, because really the live experience, my show's like an experience. Like you really, you have to be there live to really understand how it's working, and and it's so unique to the people that are there. Like when you come, even this past weekend, I did 4 shows in the same place. And a lady came with her friends, and she brought her family the next night, and she was like, I had to bring them to show them, and you didn't even do one thing from last night. So it's really something that has to be live. But the problem is that to get people to come out now, in this day and age of YouTube, Netflix, all that kind of shit, is very very challenging.
Yeah.
So you have to really give them something that they want to come see, which is what I'm trying to do on social media.
Try to improvise or even incorporate Facebook Live. So if you're in the town, and you're filming live, and you tag the town, people might tune in, see what you're doing around the town, and be like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
You'd have to do something like that. The only problem with that is it kind of becomes
shut off.
It kind of becomes a piece of technology that you have to worry about too. It kind of might take you off your game a little bit, because I've found that I did some stuff with Spenny from Kenny versus Spenny, and I tried to do. Yeah, and I tried to do some recording, and it was another thing I had to worry about that took me away from the moment, right? And you can't distract yourself from that.
Yeah, for me, what I do too is it's so in the moment. Like I have to be very present. I can't. Yeah. I honestly can't have anything on my mind. Like if I'm dealing with something in the outside world, like I really have to sit myself down and be like, okay,
clear it.
Yeah, I remember my hockey coach when I was a kid. He gave me the best advice. I was like an emotional kid. Jim Higgins. Yeah. And he that is him. Yeah. And you played for him in RMC, right?
No. I was too small in high school to play hockey.
Were you?
Yeah, I grew
up. Oh, I see. That's why he's huge now.
Missed out now.
Yeah, that's right. So I was having a lot of my parents got divorced when I was a kid, and that was messing with me. And when I was at the rink, I was kind of spacing out, right? And he had this talk, and he was like, when you come here, when you come play hockey, leave your problems at the door. You know what I mean? Leave they'll be there when you're done, but when you come in the rink, when you walk through that door, just focus on hockey. And it really helped me, because now still before I go on stage, something's going on.
Leave it at the door.
Okay, hey, you know what? Leave your problems there.
Yeah.
They're going to be there regardless, and there's nothing you can do right now.
Right.
But you have a job to do, and I have to be very focused, like very in the moment. Yeah.
Right. Good for you, man. Do you meditate at all or anything like that?
No, I don't. I don't meditate, but I spend so much time in the car that I will shut the radio off and just...
Really?
Yeah.
And that works for you? Yeah.
Definitely fun,
Yeah.
It can be. I mean, it's the whole purpose of meditation is just to be present in every moment. So, I mean, as long as you can kind of, anytime you get distracted, that's why they use breath as an anchor. Just if you have a thought, think about your breathing, and it kind of dismisses that. Yeah.
It's fucking cool.
Absolutely.
That's something I'd like to get into.
Yeah. Well, breathing is the one thing that's both objective and subjective, because it actually is a fact that it's happening, and it is happening to you. There's some,
as well. You'll
yeah.
have to think about what to do.
Right. Absolutely. So that's why everything's related to breath, which is interesting. And for people that don't know, you might not even know this.
Probably don't.
The reason that this show is called Sex and Suicide, you know a lot of the background because I told you. And but Jeff was the film, like he filmed my whole sort of story. Like, last year in May, after I lost my best buddy to suicide, which I talked to you about the whole thing, and I said, something's pulling me to just come clean about everything that I've had to deal with.
Yeah.
And how do I do this? And you were kind of the producer and director of that in a sense, right? And it was his. Yeah, it was his team crew. Of course, I was naive, thinking all I had to do is throw up a YouTube video, and everybody that had fucking mental health problems would follow suit and do the same thing. Right. That didn't happen, surprisingly.
What?
Yeah,
what? You don't say.
Yeah.
Difficult as fuck, man.
Yeah.
No, it's tough. It is.
Yeah, and so I wanted to start. Remember, it was like hashtag mental wellness movement, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go back to being fucking raw. And, people that go through this shit, life is not easy. Life is fucking hard. And it is raw, and it is uncensored. It's unedited. So let's do something and have a platform for it. So that's how this came to be. So you were actually part of this.
Well, I'm honored, and it's really awesome to see where it went. Because I remember while we were filming that, and even then the finished product, like I was like, you're really on to something. And it's a really, it's obviously a huge topic and something that so many people deal with. And... I think it's nice to know. Yeah, it's nice for people to know. Oh, someone else is going through it too.
Sure.
Especially for you, because at the time, like you had done the Bachelorette and stuff, so you were getting kind of that. And you
tons of
that,
press shit.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of that, right? And it was like
Bachelorette
for somebody looking at you might have thought like, oh, this guy has everything. He's on that show or whatever.
Yeah.
But for you to open up like that, I thought it was really cool. So
thanks,
it was
buddy.
good. I wasn't sure if you were going to be one of those one and done, because a lot of people do one.
Right.
They see that it's not, boom,
sure, and they give up, just like Yuck Yucks told you, right? So I mean, that's what's awesome, and that's what I like having people on here for too, is just to say, I didn't give up. I kept following my passion, regardless of what other people said. I felt it.
Yeah.
And the same thing with this. Like, I don't know where it's going, but I feel something with it, and and it's brought me together with Brandon and lots of interesting guests like yourself. And people start to reach out and say, hey, like I had an old friend from Toronto I hadn't seen in 10 years come. I used to spend and DJ with him at Barking Frog. He came down here and he told his story. The whole time we were partying, I didn't know he was struggling with depression. He was on and off. Yeah. So you actually get to be real with people, and it builds a stronger connection.
Yeah.
Because of that, people ask me about him.
Yeah.
Because people don't know how to reach out. And I'm not typically the show
right.
I can reach out to in that sense.
Right.
But I've had people contact me in regards to getting a hold of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a really great idea.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that probably a lot of people need. Like, you must get those messages, hey man, that really helped me, that really, I needed that today. Yeah. It helped me to listen to that or something, right?
There's a lot, and that's what makes it all worthwhile, right? Is there's people that reach out and say, I really love what you're up to, and I don't know how to explain this, but now I know some of the things that I feel.
Yeah.
But there's also, and they say, these are people that, like, obviously I keep their names confidential. They want to be kept confidential at this point in time. But one day down the road, if this thing keeps going, maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 10 years, maybe they're like, hey, I'm strong enough now. I put all this shit behind me. I want to come and share my story too. And hopefully, because this next generation of kids with social media the way that it is, I mean, we're seeing insecurities. We're seeing attention spans drop, right? Like, slowly. Yeah. So it's a big thing. Mental illness is a big thing. What? What did we just say? What were we talking about?
You're noticing a lot of healed scars.
Yeah.
That want to come in. People with the fresh cuts don't want to come in and talk about.
That's true.
It's a healed scar that they're ready to develop and show.
Absolutely.
They don't want to show a cut to somebody, but when it's healed, scars, chicks do scars. People want to show
That's how we'll get men on the show from this moment in time. Chicks dig scars.
Here's another avenue people don't realize. It kind of incorporates myself in the situation.
Yeah.
Not too on harm. But when you focus on the negative on things, and Sean isn't a negative guy at all.
I try not to be.
He's not.
There's times, I mean,
He's
yeah.
not a negative guy at all. People sometimes don't. You subject yourself in a lot of mental health and a lot of depression talk.
Yeah.
People don't see the side that you're really outgoing and upbeat.
Yeah, sure.
That's why we've combined our personalities, because he's upbeat in my podcast.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily what he does.
Yeah.
So
Right.
combined together, we're going to have both sides of things, and which is typically life.
Mm-hmm.
Ups and downs.
Yeah.
So you watch the show, or whatever we may end up calling it, you
Yeah.
have everything.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
know
for
about
sure.
life,
For sure.
It's going to benefit a lot of people. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Our goal, eventually.
And then you could, like I said, Jeff, I mean, when you're joking around saying you're buttering me up, I could come back every week. I mean, you're welcome to come on and co-host anytime you want as well. Like when you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We can add someone in the middle here.
Sure. We can all
Or
just
does
sit
the guest
around.
always get the comfy chairs? Is
His
that how
name
that
is guest
works?
number 2, though. You're going to be, yes.
Your guest number
Guest
one
number
today.
2.
Yeah.
This is great.
We'll just have to make sure we have a few extra bottles of wine for Brandon. Just kidding,
You
buddy.
said you wouldn't say anything.
I'm just kidding, buddy.
Man, it's fucking
I know. I'm just teasing you guys. I wanted you guys to have fun tonight, and this was all about, getting to know the Jeff Leeson story, really,
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Did
And
you get everything?
I think
Did
so.
you get all of it? You got any more questions?
I did ask how
Is there
your
any-
dick was doing.
It's still good.
It's still good.
Yeah.
No, I think we kind of covered everything. What is the final sort of message that you want to let people know? We covered where you want to go in the future. I think I could see you in Vegas, man. I hope to go down to I hope to go down to Vegas being fucking not even like too long from now and seeing you, but I hope that happens sooner.
Thanks, man.
rather
Yeah,
than
no,
later, but-
I'm operating on a probably 5 to 10 year
Game plan. Sure.
for that.
You're still young
For-
for it.
Sure.
Yeah, right. I'm only 32, so I mean,
Fucking
like,
right.
if I can do that by the time I'm 40, then I'm pretty happy. But,
Yeah,
but I love what
absolutely.
I'm doing right now. Like I really enjoy the journey. This is, and I haven't always. That's the thing, is there's been times where I really let the journey get to me and really like beat myself up about where I'm at, and I'm not there yet, and I'm 23 and I'm feeling like I'm never gonna, whatever, but really you look back and you're like, what the fuck was I even thinking?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm really enjoying this time and the journey of like getting there, and the other thing is like I see it very clearly. I can see every day and every moment and every step. I can see every step forward, and I can see the future, and I can see that it's possible. I think that's really the most important thing. If anybody can take anything away from this, is that that really anything you want to do is possible. Like it really is, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what your background is, where you grew up, who your parents are, how much money you have. Like none of that really matters. It just matters if you really truly know that you want something, that you're passionate about something, that there's something that you want to do with your life. Then go do it, and it's possible to do it. Because I think so many people don't do things not necessarily because they can't. It's because they think they can't, or they don't want to let people down. They don't want to let somebody down.
Fear of failure.
Fear of so many things. Like just fear in general, like fear in general, of everything,
for sure.
right?
Fictional.
And fear, false evidence
Appearing real.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins.
Yeah, buddy. So, I listen to a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And really, we were talking, I don't even know if this was on yet or not, but we were talking about last July.
Yeah.
When I started the sort of
The
lifestyle
weight loss,
change.
Sure.
But how that started didn't start with weight loss at all. It started with a change in my mindset and changing who I believed myself, my story, changing my inner story, because everyone has the story that they tell themselves, and then that's how you're going to act.
Sure.
Whatever you believe.
Sure.
What's
How much weight
that?
have you lost?
I'm really not sure, because it fluctuated. I lost 93 pounds, it was like a year, maybe even under a year.
Still.
But I gained a few of that back,
Yeah.
right? And then lost, maybe another 40 of that. So I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 pounds total after all that. Yeah.
Did you gain that back? Was that because of the road? Like the road can be hard for eating, and
Yeah, I'm not gonna blame it on the road. It
Right.
can be hard, but it can also be smarter with your choices.
Right.
So, and the other thing is, because I would eat shitty here as well.
Okay, all right, okay.
So it was not. No, it wasn't the road. It is. You do have to be like, a little bit on the ball on the road, like where you're eating. It's not as easy as like, I'll just pull off here and have something now.
Right.
But no, it was the reason I gained it back was, when I lost the weight, it was purely a physical thing, and I didn't set my mental. I was still a fat guy in my mind.
I see.
And so if you're still a fat guy in your mind,
you're going to become.
It doesn't matter how much you lose, you're always going to work your way back.
Right.
And there was a ton of excuses I threw in there. I was on a weight loss shake thing, and I was like, well, you're going to lose a bunch of weight with the thing.
With the
so
shakes.
Once you start eating food, which is maybe true, but it was the food I was eating and how much of it I was ingesting at a time, and not going to the gym and stop,
Right.
So it really, I had to become, it wasn't about like, what are you doing? It was, who are you?
Right.
And are you a guy who gets up in the morning and goes right to the gym and then comes home and makes a healthy breakfast? Or are you the guy who sleeps in, gets up, eats shit, doesn't go to the gym, and ultimately feels like a piece of shit?
Right.
Yeah. So it was changing that.
And you've done that now. Like, you're the guy that gets up and goes to the gym for the most part.
I'm the guy who gets up and goes to the gym, and if he doesn't, then he's not the same guy. And I'm pretty like guilt we talked about, like I'm guilty about it, but also I'm like mad, angry, frustrated, and disappointed because it's like, hey man, that's not who you are. That's not who you are anymore. You're not the guy who, because there was a time in my life, honestly, where I was sleeping in until 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
When you work late,
fair enough.
You can sleep in, but that didn't need to happen. Right. Not only that, I was getting up and eating so much garbage, and then I was also eating garbage late at night. So it was like right before bed, garbage. Wake up, first thing you do, more garbage.
All your body knows.
Feels like garbage, right? And so that went on for a while, and so it was the decision though that. Are you that guy? Is that who you are?
Right.
I was living in Toronto, and I was on a wicker couch, okay, which at that weight was already a hazard, and I'm sitting there with like McDonald's wrappers all around me, pizza boxes, McDonald's wrappers, KFC, Arby's,
holy
everything
shit.
you can imagine, and holding a fillet of fish, half eaten, and I just remember it was like snapping. It was like becoming. I don't know. It was like I wasn't there, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute!
Yeah,
am I this guy? Is this who I am?
Right.
This is who I am?
Right.
Like, this is a Tuesday. This is, this wasn't a party. Not
no alcohol involved. Yeah.
There was no alcohol. No, it had nothing to do with
Food was
alcohol.
your drug.
Food was my pull. Yeah. Food almost killed me.
Yeah.
And like,
wow.
If I had continued, oh my God, I probably would have been dead immediately.
Really?
I mean, my doctor was like, when your doctor, my doctor was like, he was like, he like didn't know what to say, right? He wanted to be like, listen, man, you gotta calm this the fuck down.
Right.
Like, what are you doing to yourself?
Yeah.
But he didn't know what to say, and he's like, we should test you for diabetes, and we should, do some blood work, and like hinting at like there's probably something wrong with, the fact that you're 2 of whatever I saw last time you were here.
Right.
And so, when that happened, but that didn't even, that was like, meh, what does my doctor know? He's an idiot.
Right. Yeah.
And then,
I know.
Yeah. And then,
I didn't tell you. You might want to get a new fucking doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and
so then,
start that conversation.
It wasn't until that moment of like, waking up where you look and you're like, oh shit, this isn't who I am. This isn't what I want to be, and this isn't who I am.
Good.
And so, who are you? And then
you
it was really a
story.
discovery of like, well, who are you then?
Yeah.
Who are you? And are you a guy who's like doing road gigs for very little money and not really working, or are you a guy that can go back to that entrepreneurial spirit that got you into this in the first place and work your ass off during the week and then go do the shows on the weekend and then distribute the content and do the marketing and the promo and crush the shows and do a special and also get up and go to the gym and take care of your fucking self.
Right.
Which one of those guys gets to Vegas?
Right, absolutely.
It ain't the guy crushing burgers on a fucking wicker couch.
Right.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. That's amazing. That's a fantastic story right there.
Thanks, man.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. You've come a long way, dude. And a lot of it sounds like it's been changing what your thoughts, really.
All of it.
All of it.
Take full control over your stand guard at the door of your mind. Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins talks a lot about it too. But there was like 3 weeks of my life that were just spent in front of a computer screen. Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, over and over and over again, and it was just drilled in.
Yeah,
it was just drilled.
Sure.
And I didn't watch or listen to anything else, even stand up. I wouldn't do it, and nothing else got in my mind. And then the Jim Rohn, stand guard at the door of your mind, always.
That's interesting.
Is like in my head because
really?
It's like, okay, well, yeah, because thoughts always, thoughts come in and you're like, well, this is. I feel like shit, and you're like, wait, whoa, why?
Where's that?
Why do I feel like shit? Why am I feeling this way? What's really happening? Right?
Yeah.
And
be present.
Yeah, So very, very on guard of like, what is coming in, what is going out.
Right.
Why do you think this? What
Sure.
So very all of that stuff.
Did you pick that 3 weeks knowing that 21 days is the length of time needed to change habits? Like, did you?
Nope.
No,
I picked it because I had no shows booked for 3 weeks
because it worked out.
And just lost a $2,500 gig. Got fucking taken from me like that.
Really?
3 days before the gig was supposed to happen, and with 6 weeks worth of no shows booked.
Really?
Feeling like a complete fucking loser, and then lost the only money that I had coming in.
Really?
And it was like, well, now what do you do?
Right.
Because you just lost the only money that was going to let you survive for the next few weeks.
Right.
And pretend like, because I had all these excuses. Oh, the business and the it's difficult and it's hard and it's the summer and I can't do it. It's
yeah, sure.
No, these are excuses and they're great. And I was lying to everybody, including myself, and just right. And I was really good at that. I was really, really good at like, hey, why don't you have any show? Oh, well, let me tell you a story that I'm making up on the spot.
Yeah,
and it has nothing to do with anything because I don't want to tell you that I really view myself as a fucking loser. So I'm gonna act like a goddamn loser, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what I was doing, and I was like, well, I have nothing booked.
Yep.
I have no real even reason to get out of bed for the next 6 weeks.
Yep.
So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna allow yourself? Again, who are you?
Yeah.
Are you the guy who's going to lay around for 6 weeks crying, pissing, and moaning, which will ultimately lead to probably 12 weeks of no work? Or are you going to figure out how to change this?
Right.
And it was like, I had this, you guys ever heard of Best Year Ever, Darren Hardy?
Yep.
I had this book that, oddly enough, Dan Shaba gave me about 3 years before that. I wrote my name in it when he gave it to me.
Yeah.
I turned to page 1. I saw that you had to read, and I closed it and put it in a drawer.
Right.
And for 3 years, that fucking book sat in a drawer underneath of where I would sit and complain all day.
Right.
And so when that happened, on that Monday, I woke up. I said, "You're getting up at 7 a.m." I had gotten up at easily 2 p.m. for the 3 weeks before that. So you're getting up at 7 a.m. because 7 a.m. scared the shit out of me.
Right.
And yeah, and I was like, you're getting up at 7 a.m. You're going to take a walk because it was summer.
Yeah.
You're going to take a walk. You're going to come back, and you're just going to do that book. That's all you're doing today. You're just going to study or read or do whatever it tells you to do. And that's how it started. And then it started with that, and then you take a break on that, and then I would just watch, and it was just...
Good for you, man.
You're motivating me, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to get up and go.
Well, that's what this day's about.
It was completely changing my mind. And so... Those, first, I think it was, 3 weeks. I think it was 3 weeks of just that.
Yeah.
Then I started, and in that first week, I made the $2,500 in bookings that I lost.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then doubled it, and then tripled it. And,
wow.
Yeah.
Good for you, dude.
And then that
all
never
from
stopped.
Your mindset.
All mindset.
Wow, good for you.
That's the only thing I changed. Well, and then ultimately everything else changed. Your habits change, your rituals change, everything changed.
You're motivating me.
Yeah.
Good.
Me. Really?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm gonna get up and go for a run in the morning.
Good for you, man.
Said that,
yeah.
Legitimately, in my head, I said, I'm fucking getting up in the morning and go for a run.
There you go.
There you go, man.
There you go.
There's
For
nothing
life,
like a good in a good summer day. There's nothing really. There's nothing like it.
And it's interesting because once you start down that path, it's like opening Pandora's box when you start doing this stuff, right? Like you can't get enough of it, and it's the good stuff now. Like it's making you better.
Everything.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't have a bad day. I have bad things that happen, or like. But you don't have I never go to bed at night and be like, well, that was a bad day.
Right.
Because it's not. Because there was something that happened. Even if it was like, somebody pokes you in the ear with their thumb. You're like,
we planned that, right?
Yeah, I know.
You're poking in the ear today.
We just wanted to see if all the stuff was really working.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a good test. Yeah. How's your mindset now?
I'm motivating you now, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. How you gonna swing that one, asshole?
Are you gonna be?
He got all his nails but his fucking thumb, by the way.
Yeah, I see that. He was sharpening it. That's why he wasn't answering the door. I was stuck down there. He's like, it's not sharpening.
How's Jeff? He was this long.
That's amazing, man.
But yeah. So it really, and it's always looking like, not that I pretend that nothing is bad is happening, but it's just like. Focus. Gratitude is huge too.
Gratitude mindset.
When you learn gratitude, when you're like, wow, the power of gratitude. You can't be gratitude and misery can't live in the same place.
Right.
And so when you focus on that, when you focus on what you're grateful for, even if a bunch of shit is happening, like the worst shit's going on, if you can just focus on, well, at least this.
I have this, and at least
then it's really powerful, and then you can. Once you do that, you just start moving, and it's like all this shit can still be going on, and it's never, maybe it's never going to go away,
right?
But at least you can deal with it, because it's not going to overtake your whole, your whole life.
It's all about perspective, man, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same. It's misery and even fear. I think can exist when you're grateful for something. I don't think it's the same thing. It's gratitude is so powerful that it knocks those other emotions that knock you down out of the way.
Yeah, and fear is like crippling.
It is.
Fear is crazy.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It totally is. Fear.
It's underneath a lot of things. A lot of people's issues is fear in the end. So.
Yeah, it really is.
Fear of everything.
Yeah.
So, well, I like your ending message here is basically find what you're passionate about. Don't give up.
Yeah, never. Don't give up. Don't. Yeah, I mean, even if it's not, even if the passion isn't necessarily something you want to do for work, it doesn't necessarily have to be like career related. But if you're passionate about, plants, and you wanna just you're like you got a job or whatever, and you something drawing you to plants. But there's so many people that are like, I want to do something with plants, but everybody's gonna make fun of me, or my mom hated plants when I was growing up, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But just go and do it. Life's so short too. That's the is like my grandma died a few years ago out of the blue. Like my grandma was in her 70s, but acted like she was in her 30s, and just boom, gone. And it really. Like it rocked me hard. Like that was a time where it was like, I don't want to get up. I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to move. I don't want to do anything. I just want to eat and sleep and stay.
Yeah.
And that was like really tough. But it ultimately it led to like, well, life is super short, man. So like, who are you? Who are you gonna be? You have one life. What you make it.
Yep.
It's up to you. And you write the design, and you write the script. So. Who is it in the end? Like, and it started to really make me think honestly about the end. Like when they're putting you away for that final time, and you don't know, is that tomorrow? Is that next year? Is that 20, 100, like who knows, right?
Yeah, sure.
So it was like, I really started to think about, okay, like when people are standing around and they're talking about you, what are they saying? And now all you got to do for the rest of your life is act according to what you want them to say at the end, and that's the guy you need to become.
Right.
And then figuring out what do we need to do from there.
That's a good. Joe Rogan's slogan. He says, "If your life was a movie, and you're the hero.
You're the hero.
What would the hero do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking do that.
The hero.
Yeah. That's actually a really good point. Yeah.
We put it in perspective. You're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
I should just probably do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
Because so many people, it really like doing, like you could not be doing this right now. You
100%.
You could honestly be doing like real estate or whatever.
Yeah.
Or any job.
Yeah.
And every day you sit at your desk and you type in your little computer and you go, you know, what'd be great is if we could do like a sex and suicide podcast. I could even do it out of my house. I'd Facebook Live it. Fuck it. I got to do this thing.
Yeah.
And they just don't do. There's so many ideas.
Absolutely.
That people are going to die with. They're going to be dead.
Yeah.
And
themselves.
you're like, man, you had that idea, and it's so many people are not doing. They're thinking. They overthink about a lot of things, you know. And
100%.
then, and once you overthink, it's like, you know,
Yeah.
you got 3 cameras set up here, and you got mics, and you got all that shit. Did this not start on a fucking couch? This
Yeah.
started actually with us filming you out by a pool
Exactly.
in a suit, sweating profusely.
Yeah.
This is how this started, and
Yeah.
you could have quit right there. You could
Sure,
say, "Well, that's
sure.
it,"
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
you didn't, and kudos to you.
Thanks,
And
man.
that's what people. But that's so many people are like, "Yeah, him, but not me." Why you? Why?
Yeah, I'm
why
no one
Sean
special.
Evans? What does Sean Evans have that you don't?
Yeah.
You have talent, and you have a drive, and you have ambition, and but you also had the willingness to do it. You
Mm-hmm.
fucking did. Cabin podcast, or even the Instagram things that you were talking about.
Yeah.
You're talking about people commenting online. The people who comment online and say this was dumb or I didn't like this are people who guaranteed don't do fucking anything.
Yeah.
The only thing that they do is go online and comment on
bitch.
your stupid fucking shit. But the thing is, they're upset with themselves that they didn't do it.
Yeah.
That's why
Absolutely.
they're angry.
Absolutely.
Is that in 10 years from now, they're going to be sitting at their dinner with their fucking kids, not
Right.
thinking about what you did 10 years ago.
Yeah.
No,
So
not
fuck
at
'em.
all.
Yeah.
They're not paying your bills. Fuck them.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Right. It really doesn't matter. And most people are so upset.
Negative.
They're so negative,
Yeah.
but so upset with themselves
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
for the
Self-hatred.
fact that they're not doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
That they'll comment, you know, so many like you mentioned the restaurant commercial. I don't even think I can say their name.
That's
but,
okay.
Probably don't.
But there's a commercial, right? And there's a lot of comments negatively about the commercial or about me or about the venue or whatever. And it's like, why?
Yeah. Why is that?
What is going on in your life? I don't even care if somebody comments like, you know, oftentimes it's really funny actually, but if somebody's like really negative, they're like, meh, right? My mom always calls. She's like, "Can you believe what this person said about you? This is," and she's mad because I'm like, "Mom, relax." Like,
Yeah.
let's think.
Yeah.
But let's think about it.
my son.
Let's think about what's going on in that guy or that woman's mind
In their world.
Fuck 'em.
Yeah.
that they were like, they came across a very clearly a joke commercial or
Yeah.
whatever, and we're like, I'm so angry that I need to spend. Now, how long did you spend? How long did you spend on that? Did you
Yeah.
spend a minute? Did you spend 2 minutes, 5 minutes?
Half
crafting?
hour?
Did you spend a half
Yeah.
hour? Oh, I can't say
Yeah.
fuck. I want to say damn.
Yeah.
And then you're shit. No, that's too. You suck. No, that's right.
Yeah.
How much time did you fucking waste? And in that time, I did something that I had fun with, was passionate about, enjoyed myself, maybe even made fun. This guy doing things with his Instagram, and these people sitting around like, I hate my fucking life and the fact that I don't do anything.
Yeah. It's
And like,
basically.
yeah, but that's
yeah,
what it is. And
it
it's really
is.
I
sad.
just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I did my podcast.
Yeah.
Because I saw so many people fucking talking about podcasting and wanting to do it. And I said, I have the space, I have the time, and I got the fucking energy.
Yeah.
Right.
I threw a desk in, threw a Mac in, see
Right.
what the fuck happened.
And you did it.
Grew into that, had you as my first guest.
Yeah.
Me and you were evolving, and we're fucking doubling up.
All because you did.
Yeah.
All because you did.
Yeah.
And there's someone like you somewhere right now, hammered at a bar,
Yeah.
Yep.
going, you know what?
Or
These
on a podcast.
fucking podcasts suck.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
can do way better. There's somebody
Absolutely.
watching this
Yeah.
right now out there, and they're like, these 3 fucking losers? Are
Absolutely.
you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me, bro? I could.
Are they from?
Dad, please. That's amazing. But there really is.
Yeah.
There's somebody that's been watching. I guarantee there's somebody that watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
They've sat at their computer the whole time just like, do you believe this shit? Oh, man, these guys suck. I'd be way better than this guy.
Are they
Guy, I
Italian
would-
too?
Yeah, they're Italian. Why not? Yeah, why not? Yeah. It's just a fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That
awesome.
guy's like, oh, my God, can they see me? That guy's nervous right now. For
Yeah. Is my webcam on?
Yes, finally they're talking about something I can get behind. Me.
If you had one sentence to say to someone,
Yeah.
There'd be your closing sentence to someone. If you had to say one thing to someone, what would it be? Like 1 or 2 sentences. Really?
To
someone that
just anyone or
advice that you didn't get unless you did it yourself.
I would say don't listen. I would say a couple of things. First of all, be careful who you're around. Be careful who you're
associating with,
hanging out with.
Yep.
And don't be careful who you listen to. And
just do it.
Do what you fucking want.
Like back to the Nike logo.
To do. Just do it. Man.
Yeah, just do it. Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Don't ever fucking let somebody tell you can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would also say, like, always remember that somebody that told you can't isn't.
Right.
They're whatever it is that they told you can't do, they're not doing whatever it is they really want to do, and it's really not about you, it's about them. And as long as you can really, like, when people are negative to you or say stupid shit like that, as long as you can be compassionate to them and say, like, I really feel bad that you live in such fucking misery that you had to tell me that I couldn't or should, then it makes it a lot better, because you're like, oh, it's you don't say fuck you. You're like, well, that really sucks that you actually live in that headspace.
Absolutely.
Which is really shitty.
It is.
Some people have to. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Sorry, that was way more than one sentence.
But you elaborate
when
on
I
something
meet
that's
people,
a great point.
I don't say one sentence. I say, sit down. I got a real talk for you.
You're getting wise.
Yeah.
You're getting wise.
Yeah. I got at least 4 to 5 sentences that I need to get out here.
Paragraphs. Well, I hope that you're doing that to these older comics that are coming in, and you're like, listen, sit down. I have some words of advice as a 32-year-old that's done it for 17 years.
I really one of my favorite things now to do is I try to mentor as much as I can young comics. I try to always bring them on the road and take them out and give them time and stuff like that, because I know what it's like to be denied stage time and told no, or obviously told like you shouldn't do this. And I think if that's somebody, I go by like how passionate the guys I book is how much do you want it, how passionate are you. There's a guy that MCs for me a lot, and the reason that what really drew me to him was he literally came up to me after a show and he said, anytime, anywhere, you got a show, I'll fucking do it. And I asked him to do like these 2 shows, one in London, one in Oakville, same night. Yeah. And he was down.
Wow.
And he was in, he did it. And he, at first he was learning. It was a learning curve. He really had to kind of find himself. And now, to be honest with you, in my opinion, he's a professional comic. He could, in my opinion, you know who you are, quit his job and do comedy full time.
Really?
Today, it's probably not the smartest idea, but he could.
But don't listen to Jeff, right?
But it's don't listen to me. But no, he really could, and I know someday that he will. And he definitely, but he earned it. People go like, oh, people will say shit, but fact is, he did every fucking show possible. He did the bad ones, he did the good ones, he did the, he did the drives, and it shows. Yeah. And he still is. I mean, he's very new to it, but the fact that he's as good as he is right now, only a few years in, is like, he's way better than I was when I was 3 years in. That's for goddamn sure. So, he's, and that's great for me to see. And I've seen a lot of that. Like I've given a lot of comics their first show. I've given a lot of guys
it's rewarding,
advice,
right?
And it's always I have an open door policy. Really, it's like, if you ask me, I'll give you advice. Whatever you do it with, it is on you. Because some guys, they're like, how do I do this? And you give them the spiel. It's like, it's going to take a long time, but
you gotta.
And some guys quit, and some guys keep going. And I love I love to see the progression. I love that.
Sure. Yeah. Last question for you: Have you ever thought about stand up?
I have.
And what would you ever want to open or go on and try it out with Jeff at one point?
It's something that I'm not scared of.
Right.
Because again, I know the euphoric experience of having a crowd in the palm of your hand.
Right.
Because sometimes, for example, at my sister's wedding,
I
don't know how you feel when you do it, but I had a speech ready, and I blacked out. Not because of alcohol. I fucking just grabbed the mic.
Like passed out, or
my
like
cousin was with me. We were gonna do a speech.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck happened.
Okay.
I took the mic and I said, fuck it. And I walked around the room and just roasted my sister. But not like hurt her feelings, but just said stories. Went back, put the mic in the stand.
Can we get her in on this? I'd really like to know if that's accurate.
Here's the thing, 100%. I told a story about her being a soccer player, trying out, and the only person getting cut. But she was like trying to be professional, like acting like she was the fucking main player.
Yeah.
The only person got cut.
Here's the only one that got
Only one got cut. Shit. So I fucking said that story, and then everybody to this day, I still people that were at the wedding said, "Hey man, that was the best speech I ever heard at the wedding."
Good.
And I'm like, holy
That's
fuck.
cool.
It made me think about something, but that feeling he talks about, I felt that. I felt
it's a crazy feeling.
Fucking bananas.
Yeah.
And you remember that? That's the only thing you remember?
From a stand-up experience.
Yeah.
Well, he did black out.
I know, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I never did anything.
I blacked out when I came to. I was telling a story about my sister getting cut from soccer. I don't know what happened after that.
That's awesome.
But that's awesome. You should. I think I maybe told you this after the Cabin podcast too, but you should try it sometime.
I definitely would.
I would love to see you try
I'd actually
stand-up.
love to open for you and just let you crush the set afterwards.
I don't think so. No, but I would.
I wouldn't close for you.
No. I'll open, you close. I'll host.
No, I don't want to follow you.
No, but I would do that for sure. Cool. If you want to do that, because I would love to see. I would just love to see it.
Well, here's the thing: is I've approached comedians about this, stand-up comedians, and said, and I try to get their opinions on jokes, and they said, "Don't fucking tell me."
Oh yeah.
And they say, "Don't tell me." It's a really unique culture with comedians because they'll say, "Don't tell me your joke. Don't ever tell me your joke because I don't want to know if it's funny or not because my reaction will not be a crowd's reaction."
Right.
You can't gauge your jokes off telling one person.
Right.
It's really interesting. So I don't know.
That is really true.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
So
if one person doesn't get it, doesn't mean that they could just be the one that doesn't.
Right. And the other thing is like if your buddies, even if you're not buddies, if you can kind of figure someone out and go, okay, I know what's going to make this guy laugh.
Yeah.
And so you can tell him a joke that you know, well,
right.
that's good for him. But
sure.
when you're in a crowd, you got, 100, 200 different people. It's like trying to tap into each one of them,
right,
and make them all connected.
Yeah.
That's the tough part. It's very a lot of psychology involved in stand-up.
It's interesting.
Sure.
I always have success making a lot of people laugh because for some reason, it's mob mentality.
Yeah. That's true.
People laugh together and it's contagious.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas you have 3 people and they're like, you're like, fuck you.
I mean, if you're doing stand up and one guy is just laughing his ass off, I mean, like laughing is contagious, right? So
yeah, if you're doing stand up and one guy is laughing, you're in a lot of trouble.
But hopefully he can kind of just that one guy sort of when you're just starting out can start to yeah or no?
That's the hope.
That's the hope.
But usually,
okay,
in my experience, guys.
Okay, tell me.
If you're in a crowd
and
one guy is laughing, the whole crowd is like, you need to shut the fuck up and stop laughing. Because they're not laughing for a reason, right?
Right.
Yeah.
However, I will make a statement now.
Okay.
If you give me a few months, and give me a slot somewhere, I'll do 5 minutes.
What do you need a few months for?
To write some material.
You don't have anything?
I do.
What about Klaus?
No, you can't do that.
You can't. I guess you can't do it live because you got the filter, right?
True stories that I can actually fucking.
Here's the key. So I'll give you this advice, and then you get back to me when you want to do this. Yeah. We can do this as part of. If you want to like film it, we can do it as part of a thing, like a little experiment.
Like. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, or who knows? Well, a lot of guys know. You know what? A lot of guys kill their first time. They do.
And then they expect to do the second one. And they fucking bomb.
Yeah. It's a lot of second time bombs and third time bombs, but a lot of guys do really well. But for you, I would say that the best advice I ever got certainly was write what you know. So don't write about like something that you think is funny or whatever.
No, it's not.
Whatever is personal stories are great, but the other thing about personal stories is you can't make them inside jokes. A lot of I remember that I don't even remember who the guy was, but years ago this guy went up at Yuck Yucks and all his buddies were there, and he just told stories about this other buddy who was in the crowd. So it was like a roast.
Right.
Nobody else knew them.
For sure.
But he just slaughtered because there was like 40 people there for him.
Yeah.
Right? Next 2 weeks later, we come back. He's doing another show there, and nobody's there for him this time.
Same jokes.
Right? Same jokes, same way. Horrible death. because nobody knows who fucking Eric is or whoever the hell he was talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's the thing is like, write what you know, but you got to write it so that it kind of touches everybody, not just the people involved.
Yeah. Story about me that happened. A true fucking story. I told on your podcast when I got drugged at a Dead Mouse concert.
Yep.
You got drugged at a Dead Mouse concert?
Yeah.
By?
Himself.
Ultimately myself. But you ever seen the first Blade?
No.
You ever seen Blade?
No.
Fuck out of here. No, but there's a.
I don't have time, man. I was booking shows for God's sake.
He was an entrepreneur, dude.
I'm not gonna get in the story because it's getting into my stand-up material more than likely. But I got drugged and it was the absolute worst. I saw hell in one night, and I thought I was shrinking. I couldn't speak English, and I thought I was in hell in one night. All in one night. Wow. All fucking true story.
Jeez. I want to see how this does for sure.
But like, yeah, there's a story to it, right? Yeah. Like that wasn't the story, was it?
That's a set, right?
That was chapters.
Yeah.
I can tell it 5 minutes.
I got drugged at a Dead Mouse concert. I saw hell and I saw heaven. Good night. Good night, everyone.
How do you do, Jeff?
Everybody's like, that was brilliant. Stand up for the new millennium.
Yeah.
30-second sets.
Yeah.
Just open for
Oh man.
Here for the cliff notes of the story is Brandon Ferris, everybody.
Well, the good news is you get a bunch of 3-second views off that.
Yeah. That's the flushing it out, because there'll be peaks and valleys in the story too, right? There's little mini punchlines. There's little, I don't know the story, but there's little things that happen, and then it all kind of leads up. So yeah,
there's a punchline.
But when you're there's a punchline.
My liver.
I feel like most of your punchlines is, and then I woke up.
That's pretty much what I'm like, no. And then I went to sleep. This one. Yeah. When I went to sleep.
Yeah. That's great. No, but I would love to anytime, man, when you're ready. Cool. But really do it. See, here's the thing now. Really do it. Really do it.
I said it right now online.
Yeah.
And
now it's online.
Yeah,
now it's
for sure.
Yeah. Oh, Instagram's gone, so they don't know.
Give me 5 minutes for you.
Yeah, 5. Well, that's all you get. What the hell else do you think I'm going to give you? I'm not giving you 15 minutes. No, I know. That is standard. I'll give you 5.
Sure.
I'll give you 5 minutes. 5 minutes to fucking give us your
and then I fucking pump you up,
Dead
and then
Mouse
I go home
story.
And
I can't wait for this for multiple reasons. A, I want you to succeed, but if you don't,
yeah.
I know that Jeff's gonna have some great things to say about you afterwards.
Oh yeah. Depending on how that goes, that could be 15 to 20 minutes for me.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. There's your material off that 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll make sure I'm his ride there, so he has to fucking.
Well, hopefully you're not doing what you did tonight if you're driving. That's true. I'm just teasing you, man. You didn't drink as much as we're making it out to be. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. All right, at least it's not me throwing you under the bus now. Yeah.
Let's wrap this bad boy up.
Let's do it. Well, guys, I had a lot. Yeah. So you can get down there and black out and fucking get drugged at a Dead Mouse concert. Jeff, thanks for coming, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It was great having you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, right?
It was a great time.
Hope everyone enjoyed my co-hosting ability.
Absolutely, dude. You did some great questions. You're providing some material, right? So there you go.
Fucking better of. He threatens the crowd. Hey. Day one as the co-host. I hope everyone enjoyed me. You fucking better have.
Hey, I'm right defense. I'm gonna do this fucking lot longer than both of you.
Yeah, true enough. All right, buddy. Well, thank you, Brandon Ferris, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming out.
Yeah,
Jeff Leeson again.
Job.
Yeah,
you guys have a
round
good,
of applause.
You know what? I like the dynamic.
It's good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you do, man.
Good. He's the fucking sober one, and I'm not.
He's the one. I'll remember this tomorrow. That's the only difference. Yeah.
Sure. He'll do the stand-up bit about the time he drugged himself on a podcast. It's gonna be some sit-down comedy.
All right, guys.
No, this is a lot of fun. I just want to say sorry.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
If I may.
Keep going.
I just want to say a big congratulations and good for you for doing this. Because,
thank you, man.
You're really doing awesome, and it's a really cool thing. And I think a lot of people certainly watch it and seem to enjoy it.
Sure.
So,
thanks,
good for
man.
You and he's the partnership here. I really like. I think you guys are a good team. So,
good, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. That means a lot, dude. Because I know. Yeah, you're very welcome. And yeah, and I appreciate it and the kind words and everything. Means a lot because I know you have a lot of experience in in the entertainment world, everything that you do, really. So I mean, and you did a great job with my video back that started it all. So all right,
it's so cool. It was so cool to see that became this, and then this is really awesome. But then where this goes is like the sky's the limit.
Absolutely,
for you guys, so.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you're definitely the right guy, to lead the charge. And
thanks, buddy.
I think adding Mr. Ferris here is a really interesting element that I think will work really well.
Good.
Yeah. What the fuck you meant by that? Well, we'll see.
Here you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Jeff Leeson, we're going to tag your page on the bottom of this so that people can find you.
Cool.
Go support Jeff. Go see his shows. And we'll have Brandon back on more frequently. And I'll see you guys.
I'll be sharing this on my page as well.
Awesome. Okay, so
thank
perfect.
God. I was nervous he wasn't going to.
Love you, buddy. And we have our first.
Fuck, I almost made it through the whole thing with an invite.
You fucking heard of yours?
We're just gonna pin you down and start gouging your ear.
Like the one shot.
Yeah, man.
No, thank you for having me. It was amazing. It was really fun.
All right, and that's it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get to thanking each other again, all right. Good night now. Yeah.
Can you turn this off?
I get up here. There you go.
Nice. We need a guy. We need to hire a guy.